Okay, so on from email, and let's talk about Drive and Docs and how to best protect against data leaks. So any sensitive data you want to protect against being shared externally and falling into the wrong hands. And just to mention it, so data leaks, they can occur either because of malicious behavior, but sometimes it's accidental behavior by a member of staff. Perhaps they shared something with the wrong person outside of the school. So it's good to have some extra checks there about what's going on. So again, let's jump back to the admin console and let me walk you through a few of the features you have available to you. So if we go into apps, Google Workspace and Drive and Docs, and then let's select sharing. And then within here, you can control how sharing works on your domain at a high level. So you can set a default level of sharing for your entire domain, and then you can customize it for your different OUs. So for instance, I could select my students OU here and turn off sharing completely for these users. If you use Education Plus or Education Standard, you now also have the option of using Drive Trust rules. The Drive Trust rules are replacing, well, once enabled, replace those traditional sharing options. And it gives you much more control over who can share with whom. So you can set it up so that by default, maybe you want to let all users share and internally, but when they share externally, they get a warning saying you're about to share this externally. Are you really sure you want to do this? Or you can go even further than that and say, well, this group of users, I don't want to share outside the school. So I can limit that and just keep sharing within the school. And you can even go even further than that and set up rules around, well, I just want this group of users to only share with this other group of users. Perhaps it's a finance team and they've got access to a lot of confidential information. You could just stop them sharing with everyone apart from a senior leadership team. So that's just one example, but trust rules can all be configured in here, and it's yeah, really very flexible way of sharing options. I think we did one of the previous calls on it already, so if that's something you're interested in, go and have a look through our back catalogue of recordings, and we've got an in-depth session on that already. A couple other things to look at in here. So access checker, I normally recommend turning this on to either recipients only or suggested target audience, or just recipients only. And this is about prompts you get. So if you're sharing a file, a Drive file from Gmail or within another Google product, and it's not already shared with that person who you're sending the email to, you get that pop-up, don't you, asking, do you want to share this file with that user? Now, on that pop-up, it gives you a few different options for your users to choose from. So with this, you can restrict those options down and just make that a bit more targeted, because you wouldn't probably necessarily want someone just to, on a spur of a moment, share it publicly. It's best to share things targeted at a particular individual rather than just making it public as the easy option. And kind of linking into that idea of oversharing, sharing more than you anticipated. Another thing which is good to set up is target audiences. And these will pop up when staff share or link share internally. So let's say a member of staff wants to share something with all other staff at the school. They might just not think about it and I'm just going to share it with everyone in the school. But in fact, perhaps they just want to share it with just other staff, in which case you could have a target audience, just including school staff and not students, and have that as an option available. So when that member of staff goes to share something via link sharing, they can restrict it to staff really easily there. And you can customize this for different OUs. You can have up to 5 listed here. And to create your target audiences, these are available under Directory and Target Audiences. And when to create a target audience, you just need to type in a name here. So let's just call it Staff Test. And I've used that name before. Let's call this on Staff Test 2. I hope that's not already been used. And then you can add members, and a member can be either another user or a group. So I could just type in a group name here. So let's type in staff group. So this staff group is a dynamic group. So dynamic groups is another feature in Education Plus, which allows you to build groups dynamically. And this one, for example, automatically fills or updates the group with anyone in the staff AU. So I know it's always up to date. Then we can press add. And now once we've done this, we can assign that target audience back on this tab. If I just go back a stage, and then that will be available to our users, and they'll see it as an option when they go and share their document. So one more thing to show on this, and this is available in all editions of Google Workspace, and this is data loss prevention. So this is another really powerful feature which you can access by going to rules, and let's add a filter here. I'm going to select type and let's select data protection rules. And what these rules do is it automatically detects any sensitive data that might be in documents at your school. So things such as, well, let's go to templates and have a look at some examples. So things such as financial information, health information, personal information, and others. And these are some ready-made templates for you to deploy on your own domain. So let's select health information, for instance. So in here, I can either apply this to the entire domain, or I can just select a particular organizational unit or a particular group of users. But normally I would deploy this to the entire domain. We can select what products we want this to take effect on. So Google Chat and Google Drive. Then we've got some predefined rules already here, or we can add our own conditions as well. But I'm just going to go over defaults. And then we can choose what happens when Google finds that there is some sensitive information in that document. So in Google Chat, for instance, I can either warn users about that sharing that data, block that message, or just order only to track the changes. But with Google Drive, I can block external sharing, or I could just warn users about sharing that document externally. I could disable download, print, and copy. Or I can also apply a drive label. And drive labels, if you've not heard of them before, is another feature in Education Standard and Plus that allows you to add really clear labels to documents. So things like a confidential label, for instance. So you get a clear label at the top of a document, and then that can be used to restrict the sharing of those documents. So with this feature, you can automatically apply those labels. But once you apply those labels, or if you apply them manually, then anything marked as confidential can't be shared. So another powerful feature to look at there. But DLP rules, or data loss prevention, as it's also called, is available in all editions of Google Workspace. So I highly recommend looking at setting it up. And if you do want to track what's happening with your DLP rules, you can do this under Security, Security Center, and the Security Dashboard. And if we scroll right down to the bottom here, we can see how many DLP incidents have occurred and what the top policy incidents are. And for each of these, we can go and view reports and find out more details about what documents triggered that alert. And this, by the way, the Security Dashboard is in Education Plus and Standard. But yeah, we've got more links and info there on the Learn More.
Is that including target, when you were talking about target audiences, was that only standard?
Yes, that is an upgrade feature as well.
Great, thank you.